All right, all right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is a special episode of Fast Break here on IE Sports Radio. We're here live discussing the draft. We're 8 picks in with the New York Knicks selecting right now. New York Knicks go of Obi Toppin.
Not
Ooh,
not
kind of
surprised with that.
surprised there.
I wasn't.
You not?
He failed to. I wasn't expecting him to even be there. To be honest, I thought he would have been gone already.
Hmm.
That's a good spot. Now go grab Russ.
So with Obi Toppin going to the Knicks, um, how do you see that fit? With them. You got Mitchell Robinson there,
Yeah,
Kevin Knox. Who they took last year?
Bobby Portis,
Yeah, Bobby Portis. Oh, what's that kid's name? RJ Barrett.
R.J. Barrett. Yeah, Frank. I can't even say his last name.
Yeah, Frank Ntilikina.
Yeah.
How you see him fitting with the Knicks?
Um. To be honest, they're probably gonna get rid of Kevin Knox. Kevin Knox is probably gone. You're probably gonna move either Bobby Portis or Mitchell Robinson. But like I just said a minute ago, now you got the chance to really move. You can shoot at Russ now. I mean,
Yeah,
it's not a guarantee that you're gonna get him, but you can somewhat say, hey, look, we'll give you Mitchell Robinson. Probably go Kevin Knox, even though he's not that attractive as a pick. You're gonna have to give him a hell of a lot of draft picks. Probably can go give him Frank. I probably would ship RJ Bear to be honest, but it that's a move that you can kind of make now. I think Kevin Knox. I think Obi Toppin is gonna fit perfect there. That seems like a perfect spot for a player like him. Um, they they're gonna move either Bobby Portis or maybe both him and Mitchell Robinson. Like I think that's like almost a for sure thing in my eyes. I would think because I mean Obi Toppin can play damn near all positions.
yeah, I agree with you. With this pick, and Obi Toppin can play inside and outside. A
Yeah,
guy's a hustler that's going to fit in that Tom Thibodeau system with the Knicks. Hustle hard, play hard. Offense, defense. No slouching, anything like that. Like you said, the odd man out. It would be like a Kevin Knox.
yeah, it's over.
You know, and then some of the rest of the gluttonous down low.
Yeah,
What do you do with Julius Randle?
forgot about him. I damn sure forgot about. See, but that you can use all of that to get to um go get you a big name player. Like you have Obi Toppin, go pair him with somebody. Um, this is the chance where you can kind of at least have New York somewhat of get them some kind of attention. They're gonna be, I mean, obviously they're in the East, but if you can pair him with um a James Hart maybe or a Russ or another big name player, um, you have the bodies to do it. So it just depends. Like I said, it depends on who would take that deal, and if you can put the right deal together. But Julius Randle, um, Kevin Knox, Bobby Portis, Mitchell Robinson, like that's a boatload of players, bro. Like that's a lot. Julius Randle's what 27 at the highest. I don't even think he's that old. think he's probably younger than that. I think he got it
Let
back.
me. That's a good question.
I don't think he's. I don't even think he's that old.
Looking right now.
He's probably
He's
20,
25.
25, right? So I figured he's not that old. Yeah. So that's trade bait, to be honest. I mean, you probably can build around him and RJ Barrett if you wanted to. You can actually switch out instead of trading RJ Barrett, you can trade Julius Randle and Kevin Knox with a package of Mitchell Robinson to a team that need bigs like the Rockets. And there you go. I mean, I don't think he's going to be there, to be honest. I think that's over with.
But if there is any other coach there, I would say Julius Randle will stay
Yeah.
and have Obi Toppin in the fold, and you can run kind of like a very hybrid front court.
Right.
But with Thibodeau there, he's still kind of a traditionalist in a sense, and you know, someone's gonna be the odd man out. Now, sure, I don't think Top is gonna be starting off, in the jump. So, maybe you bring him in slowly, and you just go from there. And like I said, Randall's on, I think, at least one more year in his contract. So he can either opt in for the next year in 2022 or opt out. So, a lot of questions, surrounding that pick on it. So,
Yeah.
but
I mean, you have a few questions with that. It just seems as if New York is they're trying to get back. That's a good pick by the Wizards, getting Danny. But the Knicks have been what have they done? This we haven't seen too much from the Knicks. Hell, not even in the 2000s. The most recent thing I can tell you about the Knicks is out Spike Lee and the whole fight with the Pacers, Patrick Ewing and Reggie Miller. So there's not really been too much going on with them. So now they need to get going, and you can keep making these picks, but Obi Toppin can be a player to build around. But you have a lot of players that you're not going to. Let's say you're not probably going to build around. You've already seen, dude. The Knicks look terrible last year. Let's just be honest. Like they look horrible. So now,
yeah,
you have a scenario, you have a scenario where now you got a new coach in Thibodeau. We know he's a defensive-minded type coach. Um, so you can use Toppin. Um, I know it'd be hard to give up Mitchell Robinson, but if you can get a stud out of that trade or a trade with him, go ahead and make that move because right now you're trying to move forward. If you get a big name like a Russ, I think that make a big difference. Now I think the Wizards were trying to get Russ, or they were talking with Houston. I don't think that's going to fall through. To be honest, it's probably between Charlotte and New York, and you see Charlotte just got LaMelo, so I definitely don't think LaMelo and Russ is going to fit together. So I definitely think, to me, the better idea is to go ahead and push for Russ, man. I mean, you got a solid player in Obi Toppin right now who can damn near grab any boards. He's very athletic, and he's versatile as well. Like, make the move. Like, don't wait too long. I mean, this is one of the few chances that New York we always see them always have some kind of like something always happens to New York when it comes to the Knicks every time. So why not take this chance to go grab you a player that can make a difference right now? I mean, obviously Brooklyn is they're trending up right now. Milwaukee look like they're trending, even though I think we just seen that Bogdanovich is not going to go to Milwaukee. But the West, I mean, not the West, I'm sorry, not the
Well,
West,
if
the
they
East.
talk to him,
Yeah. But I mean, the East, we know that if you can go, let's say if you go 37-45, you're making the playoffs. If you can get there, if you go barely under 500, I can see you making the playoffs in the East. So try to make a push and see what's gonna happen. But you got somebody right now, Denver, Vassal, like Cole Anthony. So you have a solid player now. Go grab your big star to pair with him, in my opinion.
yeah, for the Knicks, just wrap them up real quick. We'll see what happens in the next, hell, even tonight, next couple of days when free agency starts. A lot of these trades, you know, a lot of these trades, are coming through hot fire, you know. So
Yeah,
hopefully they get something, going. Like you mentioned, like Russell Westbrook. I know they've been trying to keen getting like a point guard. You gotta go ahead and make a move. You gotta make a move sometime. You need people to sell tickets. You see it, across the bridge in Brooklyn what they doing,
yeah. I mean,
and potentially what they may do.
yeah, you're right. So this is. Go ahead and take a shot, man. I told you, you listen, and a lot of the people that I watch know that I'm a huge Magic fan. I don't expect Orlando to really do much. Um, you're kind of stuck in the situation where you're just like, oh, well, they traded with Milwaukee
Hmm.
with 2 second round picks just to be relevant. But the Knicks are one of the historic franchises. We talk about Dallas Cowboys for the football. We talk about the Lakers on the West Coast. Yankees in baseball. So the Knicks are in that class of historic franchises. So go grab your star player. And all it takes is for that one star player to get the things turning, get the trend moving forward with the Knicks, and we might be seeing something. So now that you got Obi Toppin, okay, cool. I think he's a very solid player, and he could be for years to come. Go grab Russell. He can build around, he can grow. And then now that you have that pair and a couple other players with RJ Barrett, if he's still there, maybe it attracts bigger name players because that's what it takes. NFL and NBA is two different things, right? The NBA, one player can completely change your franchise. That doesn't happen in the NFL like that. I mean, you can get your player in the NFL that can change it, but they're not going to completely change every single thing about your franchise. That happens a lot in the NBA, as we see with LeBron going to Cleveland, then going to Miami, and you know what I'm saying. So if you can go get you a solid player that can make a difference, go do it now. But it does take for you to be able to say, hey, you know what, high risk, high reward type thing. You got to go out there and say, you know what, we want Russ, and we're going to try to grab him right now because we have a solid team. This is gonna jerseys are gonna sell. Madison Square Garden is gonna be packed. They know that Russ is gonna damn near go for triple double every year or every season with Obi Toppin, the young guy, and RJ Barrett. How can how can fans not show up there? It's already historically known that big time players go to Madison Square Garden. Jalen Smith to the Suns. They go to Madison Square Garden and have their best games. I think Steph Curry had his best game there. Jordan had his best game. LeBron had his best game. These guys have very great games there, so that's already an attraction alone. If I can grab a great player to come there and ball out, and then on top of that have Russ playing for the Knicks, that Brooklyn Nets and New York Knicks game would be crazy if they can grab him and RJ Barrett with Obi Toppin.
Let's see.
Feel like the Spurs on the clock now.
Driving streaming issues here for a sec. Hang on one sec. Let's see.
That was a good pick with Jalen Smith. He gained weight the past couple of years. The man getting hella about 30 pounds.
Let's see. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah. Has a little static to it, but I can hear you. My team is coming up at 4 picks. I got to see what we're going to do. They traded Drummond, so the Pistons. Wow. So they got paired Jalen.
Bear with me, ladies and gentlemen.
They're going to pair him with DeAndre Ayton?
Let's see.
You got to hear me, right?
Let's see. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see.
They haven't missed the playoffs in 30 years, basically.
Come on now. Let's see.
Tim Duncan, 97. It says the last time the Spurs missed the playoffs, gas was $1.22. Tiger Woods won his first major. Wow.
All right, I think hopefully we're good.
That's a little static value.
Okay, yeah, kind of like a lag.
Oh well, yeah, that's gonna. They need a forward. They don't need any guards. Spurs do not need a guard.
I don't know. I just got a sticky feeling that they may go guard, but
they got so many though. Like,
yeah, none of them ain't really sticking out. Like Murray ain't. I mean, they solid, but nobody's really is sticking out.
Probably go Precious Memphis in power forward position.
Best prospect still on the board. But another Sadiq Bey of Villanova wouldn't be a bad choice here either.
They need a center. They need another big man. Jacopoto he's not gonna do it. He probably go Aaron Neesmith as well. Like here, Lewis, what do you think about him?
Kid from Alabama, I like him. Seemed like he was rising up the boards here the past couple of days. Where he falls now is anybody's guess. Like I said, Spurs can scoop him up here.
Yeah.
The Knicks need a point guard. I thought he'd be a good fit there. But then again, New York takes another forward. So the pick is in for San Antonio. Sacramento could be it. Well, I would now. They got De'Aaron Fox. So and then New Orleans got Lonzo and Eric Bledsoe.
Yeah.
Boston got Kemba. Orlando. That's an interesting spot for him if he falls down that far. Orlando needs a
I like
point guard.
I like folks. I really like folks. I really like folks. I feel like folks could be a star in about maybe 2 or 3 years.
And San Antonio selects Devin Vassell from Florida State. So another guard.
That's a surprise to me. I wasn't expecting that, but Pop likes to have. It's like he likes to have a small lineup. He has like 3 or 4. He has. That's a shocker to me.
Well, if you think what they have on the roster now, it shouldn't be too much of a surprise.
Yeah.
Like I said, Deontay Murray, you got your point guard. And I'm trying to pull up their roster right now. Let me pull that up
Dante
real
Murray,
quick.
they got Patty Mills.
Patty is always going to be your backup too. I mean, backup guard. So that ain't no issue.
He got to be long though. That's the thing. He has to be long. Comparing to Anthony Davis. Woo.
So that's pretty good company to me. Honestly, a different type of player than Anthony Davis, but the dominance and the productivity are similar.
Yeah, he's long. It makes sense. I mean, he can play the 3.
And you got to think about this: DeRozan, you know, his future like Brian Forbes. He's solid, but I mean, you can't. I mean, he's a role player.
He's a role player. Yeah, right.
You know, Derek Wright, he can play 2 guard, but I mean, you ain't gonna depend on him too much. So I mean,
were not necessarily seen as a Division I prospect coming out of high school, but improved every single year.
It's a pretty solid pick. It's just a shocker to me, but I guess Pop has been doing it for a while. So, the thing is, Pop knows he has to continue to build what he has because they missed the playoffs first time. Damn near 30, like we've seen 30-some years.
yeah.
So this is you got to get back right. I don't think Patty Mills is going to be there that long. Obviously, Aldridge, boy, I don't know, boy. You see how he play? That man show up every 3 games. He'll play hard one game, and then you won't see him the next game, and then he'll come back and play hard the following game. So, right now I'm just excited and I'm ready. I guess then, like he said, DeRozan's future is up in the air right now.
Mm-hmm.
Be a rebuilding thing right now. 2 Florida State Seminoles go top 15. They don't win a championship.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
So, it's kind of weird that y'all see the Seminole logo, Seminole signs in the back. All right, let's see.
Interesting.
Sacramento Kings select Tyrese Halliburton from Iowa State University.
Ooh. Somebody getting traded, right?
I mean, I know Vlade Divac gone, Peja Stojakovic is gone, but that's still poor drafting by Sacramento.
To me, it seems like teams are It seems like teams are loading up at the 1 and the 2 position. They're playing small ball now.
Yeah.
That's what it just seems like this is where the game is going. Can he be on the court at the same time as De'Aaron Fox?
They go. I mean, they have to be at times.
Yeah.
I mean, they have to.
Wow. He wasn't gonna fall too far though. I think at one point this has to be best available player, top pick right now. He wasn't gonna fall too far though. I think.
I mean, I'm surprised about that pick. Very surprised.
They need depth at the forward position. Forward in the center position, but
Well, they better hope Marvin Bagley gets healthy.
Yeah.
Because
Rashawn Holmes isn't bad.
Rashawn Holmes ain't bad if he ain't doing that stupid, but you know.
What do you think about Benjamin Lincoln? I'm
not. What think about who?
Benjamin Lincoln.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not too much of a fan of him either. He's kind of one of those like him and Joe Ingles. For some reason, like they play the same to me. Like they just not play good like away, and then they'll get to these all of a sudden home games like out of nowhere and just start draining threes.
One more question to you. What does Sacramento do with Bogdanovich if he misses his trade? Because they drive for this dude, like Bogdanovich is still gone, even though he kind of nixed it in a sense.
Yeah. Oh my God, they got Buddy Hield too, right? Oh,
well, yeah, he wants out too.
Dang, I forgot about him. Well, somebody's getting traded. Like, they're gonna ship some people away. My idea is I'm thinking it's gonna be Buddy Hield signed the contract, right? Last year.
Yep.
So it's probably gonna be Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield's probably gonna get shipped somewhere. Hopefully, Orlando Magic. Quote. I hope y'all hear that. Try to go grab a guard. I think he goes somewhere. Bogdanovich. It's a couple other people in that roster that I'm missing too that they got.
Oh, geez. Who am I?
Double check really quick, but I know it's some key piece. It's some other players on that roster that I'm missing right now. That they're gonna have to figure out what they want to do. Jabari Parker is there still, isn't he?
Yeah, he's still there. He pays up his option too.
Harrison Barnes,
yeah, he's still there.
Yeah, so you. I don't know, man. Let me double check. This team, Corey Brewer, he's over with him. Yogi Ferrell, you go ahead and send him packing. Oh yeah, the guy from last year. Yep, that's right. They did draft him. Corey Joseph. Oof. Well, decisions got to be made. I mean, at this point, I don't expect the Pelicans to get a guard. They have enough guards now. But I like this roster with Jackson Hayes. Kyrie Williams is a young player. I think he's going to develop too.
Mm-hmm.
So they got Zion, Lonzo, Um, I probably would think they may go guard. Eric Bledsoe, they might go guard. Yeah. Bi's there. Yeah. They probably could go guard. Um, maybe center. I don't see them going center. Jackson Hayes is a stud to me.
Yeah, I mean, I see. Watch on the ESPN, they got like a center next to Zion. You got one right there, Jackson Hayes. Well,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
don't make no sense. Like, well, we need a center. Well, center complements that Zion Wilson. All right,
Yeah. You
work
don't.
on
You don't need.
Zion's mid-range game and the three-point game, and Jackson Hayes should fit in nicely.
Yeah. To me, you're probably gonna play Zion at the 4. You have Jackson Hayes at the 5. You still got Derek Favors over there. Bi's gonna play the 3. Bledsoe is probably gonna be on the bench. See what they get.
Interesting.
Mm.
Huh.
Well, there's your boy. Hey, I listen. I brought him up. Um. Ooh. That's. So can
Okay.
too early to say that Lonzo might be on the move?
Here's my thoughts off the top of my head. Either Lonzo or Eric Bledsoe, they get moved.
Yeah.
Uh, You got, unless Stan got some crazy plans. Because let's be real. Let's be real. Lonzo can't shoot. Bledsoe ain't the world's best shooter either.
Yeah.
Kyra, he got time to develop to be a decent shooter, but that's like too much gluttonous at the one position. So
So
somebody
you
get moved.
go ahead.
Someone's getting moved. My money, it has to be Eric Bledsoe.
So you telling me that LeVar Ball is going to get his wish, and both of his sons are gonna play together in Shaw. Is that possible? I mean, right now, honestly, you're probably right. You're probably gonna move Bledsoe. Bledsoe has that fat contract, right? He got from Milwaukee, so he still had that. So they're probably gonna move him. But you gave up a king's ransom. Well, actually, the Lakers gave a king ransom for 80. You got all those pieces from the Pelicans. If I'm the Pelicans right now, I'm probably thinking, okay, I didn't like how Lonzo played last year. I'm just by looking at this pick, right? I don't like how Lonzo played last year. You had to get rid of Drew Holiday at some point. You were going to get picks from him anyway. You love Zion. Zion is going to be the star for a while. We talked about Jackson Hayes just now. Jackson Hayes is going to be your center. Bi's what most we put him in the category as most improved player, right? He's going to be a key in your team as well. If I hate to say it, but I'm probably going to ship Lonzo. And the reason after this pick is what I'm thinking. Because you have your pieces. Lonzo is going to. What did he do last year for you to really keep him? You're looking at Eric Bledsoe, who is a better defender than Lonzo, in my opinion, right now. So I'm thinking as if they're drafted. Why did they draft a guard at this moment? Don't you still got Josh Hart too?
Well, he could play one, but he's more of a two guard. But he could play at the one at times.
But he's a shooter though, correct?
Yeah, he's a shooter. Yeah.
Yeah. So at this moment, I'm thinking JJ Redick is still there, right?
He's a free agent, but I mean, he could, you know,
Yeah.
he could resign.
Okay, so he's a free agent, so you ain't got to worry about him. But you're either gonna get rid of Bledsoe for his contract, or you're loading up on too many point guards for me to think they're keeping Lonzo. That's what I'm trying to say. You're getting too many point guards. Um, you gave up all that for Drew Holiday. I don't think they gave up that much for Drew Holiday to move Eric Bledsoe, unless they see a trade that's just hard to turn down. So, there's a chance we might see Lonzo get moved again. I mean, he's about to play the role that we've seen the past couple of days of wearing like 2 or 3 jerseys in like 24 hours in a minute. Charlotte, I would be. It'll be kind of surprising. It'll be very surprising. But Lonzo and LaMelo on the same team, I wouldn't be shocked now, just because they just took a guard first round, not only for top 15 point guard. So, boy, you can't keep both. I wouldn't think so.
No, and I just want to give a shout out to Kyra Lewis. We talk about this Sunday show. I've seen this dude play since high school. So seeing that kid from just a few years ago up to now to get drafted in the first round, so congrats to him.
Yeah.
First and foremost.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sensing something's cooking. Something's cooking.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I saw that little tidbit of news that James Harden Brooklyn deal is written in pencil right now. I think everybody's just trying to figure out who's going where, matching salaries, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But something's cooking.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, right now, they're moving pieces around, getting ready for Brooklyn to sit back watching, and they're trying to get their guy. But I think with that trade, you may see 3 teams in one trade. See who Boston selects.
Okay. Boston go with Aaron Neesmith out of Vanderbilt. Averaged 23 points last season. So Boston gives another forward. Seems like they got a lot of them. So you think he stays there, or do you think he gets moved?
I think this is more so of the fact that Gordon Hayward is probably going to leave Boston. He has a fat contract, but I think that's what that move is about. You know how Boston is so far with them. They have so many players. They don't key in on one superstar to just hold them throughout the season or throughout the playoffs. So he's a solid piece with Jason Tatum, with Kemba, with Jaylen Brown. So the problem with Gordon Hayward is injuries. So they're probably gonna move. They're probably gonna let him walk. At this point, to me, I think he's gonna be a solid piece there. But I like how Boston run their franchise. They don't, like I said, they don't rely on one player to just walk them through or get them through the season. And they're not gonna ask that from him at this point. I don't see him moving. It's hard. It's hard to move a guy that's wearing green and gray like your team colors to trade him somewhere else also. So my team is up now.
They going guard. Cole
Anthony, yeah. honest, you got you gotta go guard. Jonathan Isaac. I don't know what to expect from him moving forward. Please don't go center. We're good on big men right now.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, it's dude. Every time we make a draft pick, it has me biting my nails because I don't know if we're making a pick that's going to help us for 10 years from now. We're drafting somebody to trade them.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's something that is known a lot. I wouldn't mind Tyrese Maxey as well, because Evan Fournier is not that solid to me. So he just picked up his option, and to be honest, before this night over, he might be traded as well.
Go back to New Orleans real quick. I forgot they picked up George Hill. I mean, granted, he can play. He's a combo guard anyway, but you got George Hill in the fold too, down in New Orleans.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. So it's dude, like no lie, they're gonna like. It seems like Lonzo is gonna be on the move. Like it. You just said before that pick, you said something, or after, either before or after, I'm pretty sure you said something is cooking, and we might be seeing something in the package deal. It's just right now, I don't see no reason for them to bring. I'm looking at why they drafted this point guard. You just got Bledsoe, who's a solid defensive player. Trade, like I said, I don't think he's really going anywhere. Josh Hart, maybe you ship him, but he's not that big of a name to where players would, or teams would try to want anything from him like that. They're going to go after
Mm-hmm.
Lonzo. I think Lonzo is the person that they're really probably going to key in on. So, and he had a disappointing year last year too. To be honest, if we just being real, I don't think his season was that impressive. It seems like he was kind of like uninterested in being there all season long.
Yeah, and we talked about this earlier in the summer. Him being in the bubble, not being interested in being there. So I was like, does he want to be there? Does he hate being in the bubble? Does he not like being in New Orleans? I mean, I know he's a West Coast guy, but I mean, it's like you're in the pros, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
the Lakers. Yeah, the Lakers is your dream team, but you know, stuff happens.
yeah.
So
I mean, I don't know. It just seemed like it was an uninterested ride this year. So again, and then we speculate that he may be traded, but it's just the fact that you went and got you a point guard at that for the top 15 pick tells me that you're moving somebody, in my opinion. You just went and got Eric Bledsoe, but I think, to be honest, I think Eric Bledsoe was that defensive player that he kind of wanted, but also just thrown in so they can move Drew Holiday. But to take that contract that Bledsoe has, uh, it questions, the purpose. Maybe, like I said, maybe the defensive side, but you're gonna have to extend Zion at one point, Bi at one point. So Jackson Hayes is a couple years down the road. But
mhm.
do you go? All right, well, we're gonna give Alonzo another year, or Alonzo's been in the league 3 years now.
Yep, about 3 years now.
So it's gonna be time to extend him sooner than any of those other players. They're gonna have to make a decision on him, and that pick probably is gonna put pressure on him, or they're gonna move on from him. Let's see what we do.
Look, what's Spike Lee doing there?
Good pick. Good pick.
Yeah.
What is he doing there for real?
I know. I'm like, what's Spike doing there? I'm like,
They gotta be related.
ah, Spike and connections, that New York Net connection.
Wow.
But
Okay, that was
I
good.
like to I like to play
Yeah.
for y'all Orlando. I like it. Cole Anthony, if he didn't get hurt this past call season, you know,
Did you see that? Oh my gosh.
yeah.
So
If Cole Anthony didn't get hurt this past call season and missed those games, I think his stock could have been a little bit higher.
yeah. Yeah. So it looks like Rubio's on the move again.
Uh-uh.
Yes. He's wearing another jersey again. I think I tweeted that yesterday. You got to check it out. Black Dash 813. I said, why does he keep getting moved? Looks like he is going.
Let's see. Let's see. Well, hang on, ladies and gentlemen. I think we lost D-Lock there. Let's see. Let's see. Now, they would D-Lock was alluding to Ricky Rubio's getting traded to the Timberwolves for the 25th and 28th pick. That goes along with the number 17th pick. So let's see if I could get him back on. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, so Ricky Rubio's getting traded again, from OKC, excuse me, not from Phoenix, from OKC to Minnesota. So very interesting lineup. You know, very interesting lineup. What's going to happen in Minnesota? I'm trying to get D-Law back on. And okay, okay. Oh, that was yesterday. Okay, so very interesting lineup that's going to happen up in Minnesota. Rubio at the point, D. Russ at the two. You know, you there?
Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you good.
Okay, yeah, we just made a solid. So you hear about the Rubio trade, right?
Yep, I just saw it.
What's your thoughts on that?
Very interesting. I thought, D'Angelo Russell be more that point guard in a sense. But now you look at a lineup for Minnesota of like, Rubio at the point, Russell at the two. I don't know what he had at the three, Jared Culver or Anthony Edwards, because they're about the same height, about 6'4", 6'5". Four man, that's toss up. I'm trying to look up Minnesota's roster right now. 4-man for Minnesota.
I know Honcho was over there.
Yeah.
But he's
I mean,
not
you could do Jacob Layman, but I mean, he can't defend nobody.
Yeah.
Nas Reed.
Role player.
You got Omari Spellman.
Mm,
Yeah, I know. It's just like
him, but not really.
You got Evan Turner in the fold, which I didn't know he was there, but like, damn, dog, you in Minnesota now? But anyways,
Even hey, you talk about hopping around. You talk about hopping around.
so okay, you bring back Rubio if you're Minnesota. If you want to solidify that starting lineup, grab somebody at the 4. Who that will be, I don't know. To be honest with you, I'm trying to look up the free agency. Let's see.
Even if the free agency thing, the thing about that is, free agency doesn't guarantee you to grab a player, right? You're looking at, wanting to grab a player. They're not guaranteed to go there. You can talk to them, but again, it could be, like I said, Isaiah Stewart. Trailblazers.
Interesting. That's
Yeah.
interesting for.
Wow. Okay.
Minnesota's pick. I don't know. My TV may be faster, but Minnesota's pick. They took a kid from Serbia. At Alessi Pope. I might be butchered his name. Pope Zefki, something like that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I butchered that name.
It's all
but
good with that.
but he's a power forward. He's 18 years old. How much will he contribute this year? I don't know. That's a great question.
They got a lot of guards. They have a lot of guards over there too.
Yeah.
But I mean, trying to think what they're trying to do. I guess they're gonna put D'Lo back at the 2 or keep him at the 2. Rubio at the 1. You still got Anthony Edwards, right?
And Jared Culver.
And Jared Culver. Golly, I forgot about him too. In a sense, I don't see as Rubio is going to be your assist man.
Mm-hmm.
Your shooters are probably going to be Anthony Edwards, and D'Lo is going to drive to the hole. Board man, obviously, is Cat. This kid they drafted, still got to see him develop. But being the fact that he's playing the 4, he's probably going to be the board man as well. But, Cat can do damn near anything. So, is he the player that they're just building around? Is he he can grab anything, so we're going to put shooters around him? That's what I'm thinking at the moment. But to get the thing about Rubio, and I was just talking about this, like I said yesterday, I mentioned it to you, is he keeps getting moved.
Mm-hmm.
This dude is going to wear like every team's jersey before he retires. like he's always on the go. He even tweeted what a business. He just got to Phoenix. So why does that keep happening? He's not a generational player, but he is I can see him playing a big part in the team, making it through the playoffs or having to push through the playoffs. So I'm still trying to figure out. I guess they want an assist man, just a strictly assist man in Milwaukee because they got the scores in Edwards and D'Lo, and got the guy in Karl-Anthony Towns. So it makes you ask why. Remember we talked about this where we were saying, well, even though some of these moves may seem simple, we're not general managers and owners. Like we're trying to say, well, hell, why the hell did you do that? But maybe they see something that we don't see. So I'm pretty sure he just tweeted, like I said, he said what kind of business it is, just like 2 days ago, or whenever he got traded, from the Suns. I'm pretty sure he's gonna tweet something similar tonight, because as soon as he gets comfortable in one city, he's getting shipped somewhere else. He's looking for somewhere to stay at in one spot, and now he's way somewhere else.
Yeah, and I think like that Minnesota's gonna be a real interesting team. They had to make some moves to get out of the basement of the West. So with Rubio coming back in the fold, Towns, hopefully he takes enough growth. D'Lo, hopefully he's healthy, ready to go. Hopefully your younger guys step up and contribute. And like I said, it's gonna be like a dogfight in the West.
Yeah.
Now with Dallas, drafting Josh Green 18, you get another guy that's a development guard in a sense. You're not rush to start him. You still got Tim Hardaway there. You still got what's that? Steph Curry. So you're not rushed to play Josh Green. And maybe a couple years down the road when Curry, Hardaway's gone, then you can plug, Josh Green in with Luka Doncic.
Yeah. What do you? I wanted to ask you this. What do you think about what OKC is doing? I mean, they got damn near every pick in like in the NBA for every first round pick in the NBA for the next 6 years. First round pick, like they have 18 now. What I like, my opinion is you can't, even if you were to hit or miss on these picks, you have so many picks. There's no way that you can get them all wrong. It's just so many, So like hell, you have enough picks to be recruiting a damn 8th grader right now or 7th grader to seeing how great this kid is going to be, because you're for the next 6-7 years you got 18 of top first round picks. So does that make sense, or are they going too far with it? Because dude, 18 picks is a lot. You gotta really hit on at least one.
I think, well, you don't want to fall into the thing that kind of got Danny Ainge in trouble. Now, granted, he hit a couple of his picks in Jalen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Marcus Smart. You kind of hit on those guys, but at times, I don't know if Danny was scared to train those guys to get a better player. Like a Kawhi Leonard, Anthony Davis, and a host of others. Of OKC, Sam Presti can collect all the picks he want, but if 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 that player don't turn out to a superstar, if with that pick, you gotta cash in sometime to get somebody.
Yeah.
And like I said, today's trade with Al Horford. you gave up a young prospect in Terrence Ferguson, you know, in that move. So I was like, okay, where are we going with this?
Right. Looks like Shamek just got traded to the Nets.
Jeez, everybody get traded.
Man, hey, that's why we had to go live today, man, because they moving like checkers and chess today.
So this trade, not the Knicks, the Pistons get the 19th overall pick. The Nets get Landry Shamet, and the Clippers get Luke Kennard.
Ooh, another shooter.
Yep.
Another shooter. They not a bad move for the Clippers or the Nets. Either one, to be honest. Ooh, they got another shooter over there. And you can move Luke Kennard anywhere.
Yeah.
Shamet gonna cause problems in Brooklyn, boy.
Well, depending on what's going to happen with James Harden, if James don't go there, you got 3 guards situation like you do in New Orleans. Shamet, a Kyrie, and Spencer. I know Spencer can play off guard as well,
Yeah.
but he's a point too.
Yeah.
And then here comes the pick in for Brooklyn, who's selecting for the Pistons. And they take Sadiq Bey at Villanova. So
on him.
So he's going to Detroit.
Yeah, they wanted him. They've been targeting him. They've been wanting him. Luke Kennard is a steal, though.
And I'm trying to pull up that. Let's pull up that Clippers roster real quick.
Clippers, they got. Oof. You're looking at. They're probably going to get Rondo. More than likely, seems like they're going to get him. Reggie Jackson's a free agent. Wow, dude is going to Detroit.
My thinking was getting Luke Kennard. We kind of see with Lou Williams in the bubble, and when he came out of quarantine from Magic City, he kind of wasn't himself.
Yeah.
And Lou Williams been in the league for a long time. He's 33 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So I could potentially, we could potentially see this as like, okay, if Lou Williams ain't himself, you got this other young guy here can score and stuff like that. That's all we're going to ask for him to shoot, make your wide open 3-pointers and stuff like that. If this guy ain't up to snuff.
Yeah. I mean, do you think they get rid of him?
Talking about Lou Williams?
Yeah.
That's gonna be tough. I mean, I love Lou Williams. That's a tough sell. I mean, you're not gonna bring back Reggie Jackson unless you really, really like him.
Yeah, you're right.
And you need that backup point guard. I mean, with Jackson and Lou Williams, if you want to shoot for his point guard, you rather have Williams first.
Yeah, no doubt. There's no question about that. I mean, they it's so many expectations with the Clippers, right? So every piece that they add on is just kind of like, well, they're going to the NBA Finals now, right? Well, they're going to get past the Lakers, right? Well, they're going to get past the Lakers. Like, that's going to be the question that remains every time they pick up, another body.
Yeah.
No matter if it's a trade or if it's a rookie, whatever. The expectations, we're looking at Brooklyn is probably creeping up in that expectation circle as well. You can't just you know, make a move thinking that it's not going to hurt your franchise or help it tremendously. So, you know, for them to move to get Kennard, this wasn't a move to build for 2 or 3 years from now. Like, this was a move for, okay, well, we need somebody to come in and play right now to help what we already have. Like, you know, they, in a sense, for the Clippers, it's between them and the Lakers right now for the West, to get to the NBA Finals. So, you know, every move, you know, for some teams, OKC, prime example, OKC is making these trades, picking these players. They're doing all of this to build for 2 or 3 years from now. They're not going to win right now. Like, they could do. You send Al Horford over to OKC, that's a totally different thing than you send Al Horford to the Clippers. You know, it's a totally different thing. So, making that move for Luke Kennard and this free agency, which we'll go over and we'll see numerous people go, you know, they're going to try to grab. Like, this is not something that they're doing to set up a year or two from now. Like, they're going in saying, look, listen, you know, we're trying to win this year. So, and it makes hella sense. You know, you got NBA Finals MVP in Kawhi, and you have in GP, as they call him in the playoffs, Paul George. So it's you got a lot of guys there already. So it's I possibly maybe seeing Trez leave. He's a free agent this year, right?
Maybe.
I believe that this year he is a free agent. I don't know if they let him walk or if it would make sense for him to leave. But you have everything over there right now, and who else is? The Nuggets are going to be the Nuggets, but Trailblazers, I just don't think. The way I see it with a lot of these teams, they have to run to either the Clippers or the Lakers. The only team I kind of put in that category that I really, really like, and I've been telling you this before even playoffs, was the Dallas Mavericks. I really like what they're building. It's just that if Porzingis can stay healthy, which we just seen that he's going to miss, the beginning of the season, that's going to hurt. But they have a roster and Carlisle, a coach, that shows them being promising for years to come. But they are one of the teams, as we've seen, they were pushing the Clippers.
Yeah.
If Porzingis doesn't get hurt, I don't think that if Porzingis do not get hurt, they might have pushed the Clippers out of the playoffs, to be honest. So remember, he got suspended one game, and then I believe he got hurt another game. So you're looking at a scenario where they have a solid roster. So you got them, and I feel like it's a drop off after that. The Suns made a solid move, but we know the top tiers in the West, and every move that the Clippers make, hell, even the Lakers, they just won a championship, but they're going back to repeat. LeBron didn't go to the Lakers just to win one championship, neither did AD. So we'll see. But every move that these teams make, you know, they're trying to get to the finals. High expectations.
And Precious Achua going from Memphis going to Miami. So, you know, I guess this depth there.
Does he play
for the Heat. So that I
gotta get my computer.
I guess that's a decent pick for them.
Plug. Does he play a lot?
He's like a 4 or 5 man. You know, I was trying to find a fit with Bam Adebayo, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like he does the same. He does the same things as Bam, but it's like I don't. I'm trying to find the logic. Unless they trying to build up depth in that bench. That's the only thing I could really think of.
Kelly Olynyk minutes will go down. Yeah. I mean, they're probably gonna, yeah, he's gonna be veteran backup point guard. That's what the Sixers need. You're probably going to, he's probably gonna come in for Bam. So Atlantic and what you got named they got from Portland. I can't think of his
Yeah.
name right now. You know what I'm talking about. I can't think of his name right now. Golly, why my name is going blank. Um Anyway, the center, they're probably, their minutes are probably gonna drop big time.
I was talking about Miles Leonard.
Miles Leonard. Yep. I cannot believe I'm forgetting his name. I done picked him in FanDuel a couple times. So it's probably gonna drop. Their minutes are probably definitely going down. He's gonna get in, he's gonna get some good minutes. He's one.
Well, but you know this with Pat Riley.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you can shoot and score and stuff like that, but you gotta play defense also. You gotta hustle. Like Pat Riley led teams. You never saw one trick ponies to a degree. I was like, I'm gonna get something out of you offensively, and I'm damn sure gonna give you something out of you defensively. And I think with this pick, Pat Riley don't want no slouches.
Nah, no. I mean, I think he's gonna pair him with Bam, and what they can do is just gonna, he's gonna motivate him big time. So not a bad pick. But you talk about a team that was in the NBA Finals last year, so they have damn near every piece that you need, that they need.
Hmm.
So now it's about depth and kind of staying younger, but also we got to figure out what time Udonis is actually going to leave the NBA. He's sitting there collecting checks right now, and he's probably got Miami on the stranglehold right now because he's collecting the check and he's not playing a minute. I need that
No,
pre. But other rotation guy, they can go now. The thing about them, they can be big everywhere now. Because you still got Derrick Jones. Iggy is probably going to be there, I think, a little bit better next. You got Jay Crowder.
hmm
So now Duncan Robinson, they are very long. They have a lineup where they can be very long at times. So not a bad move to me because you have a stud player with Jimmy Butler there, and Bam's gonna come into his own. Tyler Hero, as we've seen during the playoffs, turn into like a hell of a player. Duncan Robinson, I think Duncan Robinson, I like him, but I don't see his ceiling to be what Tyler Hero is. But granted, they have a roster. It's just about the depth. And to be honest, all the moves recently that Pat Riley has made has been great to me. I mean, remember they were supposed to be left for dead when LeBron left, and you remember I think D Wade left like right after that, and they were supposed to just drop, and they haven't really dropped off too much.
no, and I think Pat Riley wouldn't allow that. And you know, when LeBron left, he left for basketball reasons. But if he was going to say at a place for basketball reasons, then he would stay there in Miami.
Yeah,
But we kind of know what it was. That tussle, that power tussle with Pat Riley and LeBron and stuff like that. And knowing we know Brian and stories about him, he gets what he wants. He's been getting that way for most of his life. And he ran to a dude that wasn't going to tolerate that. And then he go back to a place that he's comfortable with.
yeah,
And the guy down in Miami still kept, turning the wheel. They had a couple hiccups, but they recovered now nicely. And now, the fruits of that labor, scouting well, getting these guys, these undrafted free agents and Kendrick Nunn, Duncan Robinson into the fold, getting Tyler here, Bam Adebayo.
Yeah.
You got a nice young core right there. Mix in some veterans, like Jimmy Butler, and look what you did. You made the finals.
Yep.
With the 21st pick,
Win 2 games in the finals.
Philadelphia 76ers, Tyrese Maxey from the University of
Okay, I like that. I like that.
Yeah. Very good pick. Very,
Okay,
very good pick. Putting shooters around Joel Embiid.
and Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
Do you think
Very.
Ben Simmons got to take that leap next year?
He has no choice. I think this is the time now. Um, he's. I see him elevating. But I do think that this is going to be the time where he kind of makes that leap ahead. To be honest, I know it's a huge comparison, but I do see him as kind of a similar to a similar type of player like Magic Johnson. Like Magic Johnson didn't really have a shot like that, but he was an assist man. He can grab boards, pretty defensive. Um, I think that's how Ben Simmons is. So I said to say I don't expect for him to have a high percentage of shooting, like moving forward. I don't see that in Ben Simmons. Like I see him as as a scorer, not a shooter. You know, he can score, um, and very good on defense. So now with him, and I mean, you talked about it. I was saying, hell, I think the Sixers should move Embiid, but clearly doesn't seem like it right now at the moment. But you have those two; they're gonna grab everything off the glass.
Mm-hmm.
You got shooters, man. You got Tobias. You bring this kid in, like you got you a couple guys now. Dabula is what I think it's his second or third year in Philly now.
Yeah.
So you got hella pieces there. They got Alec Burks there as well. So you have a pretty decent roster to where you got all the shooters that you really need. You got the defensive help. Like I told you, my biggest issue with Philly. My biggest issue is what do Joel if Joel Embiid can take it serious, it's good. But even Shaq says, hell, Shaq is one of the greatest players of all time. And Shaq says, hell, if he would have been healthy or stayed on his weight and was kind of focusing on his weight like other players, then he would be a better player. I feel the same with Embiid. I mean, Embiid is one of the better players in the league, but if he can just take care of his body, and focus on that and stay healthy, you might be seeing him on a totally different level and a level of consistency. I think that's the biggest deal when it comes to this is consistency. You get a consistent Joel Embiid, that's a hard team to stop. With Ben Simmons, like that's a very, very hard team to stop.
Yeah, and if Doc Rivers could be that guy to kind of be that dude to kind of get these guys right, you know, we shall see. You know, With Doc Rivers in the fold with Philly, it's just like can you motivate these guys? Can you build them up?
Yeah,
Can you get the best out of them? That's like the number one. That's the number one question right now.
he's been coaching, but like with somebody with so much caliber, with the long resume as he has, um, you would think that he would be able to. Now, I ain't gonna lie. I think he ran into a scenario in LA where, for one, you know, you're at the Clippers, so like they always say, you're in the bottom realm between the Clippers and the Lakers. It's like something is always wrong with the Clippers, and everything always go right with the Lakers. So you ran into that scenario with the Clippers for a while, and then you're into last year where you have a dominant, one of the better players in the league, and Kawhi, who had basically so much control of the organization. It's like Doc couldn't
Hmm.
coach. to how he, coached in Boston or coached in Orlando or coached hell before Kawhi even got there. Um, I think he's one of the better coaches. It's just now, or when he had the Kawhi, they think about it. I told you about this, and I know you remember when Kawhi signed with the Clippers. Dude, it's like the president was walking into their press conference. Like they treated Kawhi like he was just like the owner and the general manager and the coach. So now I think Doc is in a better position now where you don't have that player that says, well, damn, you know what? I don't feel like playing today, or I don't feel like playing a full game today. We're already up by 20. Like I'm just gonna chill, go through the motions of this game. You're looking at a totally different team that has a great player, I think, in Joel Embiid, still an uprising great player in Ben Simmons. This could be a better Doc that we see, more Doc Rivers than we've seen in the past, because what we've seen in what he had with Blake Griffin and Chris Paul wasn't bad, but come on now, everywhere Chris Paul goes is always the issue. Let's be real, we know that. Every time Chris Paul goes somewhere, there's some kind of tension. We don't know what it is, we don't know why, but if tension always follows you, we can't blame the organization that every organization that you go to. So I think Chris Paul has a little to do with that. You got Blake Griffin, who is forever injured at some point. So now that you're in Philly in a totally different area, I think that we see a Doc Rivers that can get far, especially in the East.
Yeah. In Kelsey in the chat, he's asking, are you still buying Doc Rivers? Not really, to be honest with you. Ian, it's just like I don't know. Maybe because he won that one championship with Boston, and I bought these guys a lot. I mean, I don't know. You know what? I can't really buy the dog no more. I don't know. Maybe like that winning that championship with Boston years ago was like the right place, right time, and right circumstances. I don't know. Like you mentioned this with with him coaching Orlando. Okay, it was what it was. I mean, yeah, you had T Mac, but Grant Hill, really didn't play. Then you get to Boston, and you do your thing there, and you almost win two championships.
Mm-hmm.
Then then you didn't want to rebuild in Boston. So okay, you bounce it, you get to LA, had all the talent in the world there, great starting lineup, but you never got over that hump. For whatever reason, you never got over that hump. Whereas like the Warriors in your way,
Correct.
the Utah Jazz knock you out the playoffs, whatever. Get Kawhi, Paul George. You lose that power struggle in the front office with Jerry West and Lawrence Frank. You know, you really do the same thing. And we talked about this in the past, D-Lock. I don't think Kawhi Leonard isn't fully healthy.
Nope.
That leg is, I don't think it's fully healthy.
But see, with me,
And
my thing with Kawhi is Kawhi. Like I get this vibe from him that he knows he's like one of the better players, so he
yep,
uses that to his advantage. Now, there's nothing wrong with that at some point, but it's kind of like he's saying, well, damn, like the season is not important. Like I'm not worrying about the season. Like I'm worried about the playoffs. Now, I understand that at some point, but that doesn't mean that we just want to half-ass regular season. And I say that to say, well, maybe he's kind of using this injury to his. That's what I'm saying. But he knows that he's injured, and he uses that to well, I'm injured, so I kind of can float through it. Well, the thing about a lot of injuries is there's something called rehab. right? A lot of times when it comes to this rehab, we hear about a lot of these players that don't play or are out. You know, we hear players that, prime example, we heard about Klay Thompson not playing all season long. Everybody
Yeah.
should know that even though he did not play, this guy's still doing his rehab and still doing workouts to get back to being to get back to playing. I say that to say that even though he's not playing, that doesn't mean he's sitting on his ass not doing anything. I say that to say with Kawhi gives off the energy. Well, the season is not important, but the season is important when it comes to injuries and rehab. So when you feel that injury, maybe a couple of these games that you're missing, if you play them, well, damn, it hurts here, or this is where it's starting to hurt. At I need to book more rehab. You kind of get what I'm saying with it? Like,
Yeah.
those are the things that tell you that, okay, well, you know what? I need to do more rehab on this. Or, you know what? I can only last 3 quarters instead of 4 because of this injury right now. Or after rehab, I can last 3 quarters instead of 2. More rehab, maybe I can last a full game or a couple games. All of these things play a part. And there's 2 things when you know that, okay, you just won Finals MVP the year before. And when you did that, you took off every 2 games when he was in Toronto. Every 3 games, he took off a game, except the playoffs. When you feel that, like, that's going to work, you feel like it's going to work no matter where you go at. And tried in LA and it didn't work. So even though he's not healthy, I think that him not being healthy does play a part in how he approaches the season. Because I can tell you, even the athlete myself, if I feel anything in my leg, it's like, okay, I don't want to just not do anything unless it's
Yeah.
designed for me to not do anything that day. Because if I'm supposed to do ramps tomorrow and I say, well, damn, you know what? Instead of doing the 10 like I originally supposed to, I can do 3 or do 4. That tells me how big the injury actually is. And when you miss games, I think that is where it hurts Kawhi, you know, in the future. Then the playoffs come around. Now, like you said, well, he's not fully healthy. But now the playoffs come around. Now you can't miss any games in the playoffs. You miss a game. We see it with Porzingis. Porzingis miss a game. It's a game they lose. So, and again, goes back to what I talked about like 30 minutes ago. The high expectations for the Clippers is so high that you can't lose a series. Like you lose a series before you get to the Lakers and you get your coach fired. So it's, you know what I'm saying. So he's not healthy, but it at the same time it is the athlete's job, his job specifically to, you know what, let me test this to see what this feels like, so I can kind of know where my body is. Got 82 games to do that.
Yeah. And, you know, Paul Jordan, his issues, you know, we talked about that in the past. You know, Kawhi, I said when playoff time, you know, he's going to play. You got to play all the games, you know, when played. And the Knicks, this, they go,
You need some shooters. You need some guys behind you. And when you think about
okay, they go with Leandro Balmo from Argentina.
RJ Barrett,
So
so you need guys
a
that
2 guard for the Knicks right there.
top.
You know, don't know too much about him. So I don't know, maybe a draft a stash for a year before he comes over.
Yeah.
So interesting for the. I mean, it's time to tell with this pick for the Knicks. I know Knicks fans probably won't be happy about that, but you know, it. We'll see.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
come.
these are the picks. These are the picks that, like I said, these are the picks that determines what happened 3 or 4 years from now. The Knicks always drafted, you know, players from different countries a lot. Uh, Maybe he can be a guy that does make a little difference. But uh, my problem with the Knicks sometimes is getting a little impatient sometimes. But getting that player, like I said, they need to make a push on somebody, a big name, because you got all these younger players. You get you one big name, and this puts New York Knicks back in a totally different like level tier. You're in the East where, like we talked about before, if you go 37-45, or sometimes hell, even if you go 30-52, you might be on the brink of making the playoffs. Making the playoffs, you might get the eighth spot. So, and to be honest, players like Russ, they're gonna they're gonna get you at least. They're gonna get you some wins, guaranteed. So you make some of these moves, maybe it flourishes these other players that they're drafting, they're trying to build around. Um, like you said, some fans are gonna be like, "What the hell is?" Like, I'm really wondering what Stephen A. Smith is saying right now. Like, I'm pretty sure he's probably shocked. Um,
I mean, he can't be surprised though.
yeah,
I mean, it's the 23rd pick. You know, guy from Argentina. I mean, you shouldn't expect too much from him. You know, in the chat, Ian Kelsey, saying, who wants to go to the Knicks? I mean, I mean, like I say, ownership is garbage. I mean, we talked about this in the past, D Lock. You
yeah,
know, it's also one man at the top, James James Dolan. You know,
yep,
I don't know, he one him, Daniel Snyder. You know, before what's his name got kicked out the league, Donald Sterling was probably some of the worst owners that have been some of the worst owners in sports.
yeah.
You know,
They're screwing up a lot. And it's
and
such good to be a franchise like that.
going back to last year, last offseason, if the Knicks had competent ownership, we could probably see Kyrie and Kevin Durant in Knicks uniforms. Maybe, I don't know. This maybe, but it starts up top of James Dolan, and if he let Leon Rose do his job, you know, and build his team up right, along with Thibodeau, I think they'd be all right. And then Audrey Hampton going to the Bucks, so you get rid of Bledsoe, George Hill, you take another guard as probably like more development for the future. So hopefully he be your guard for the future. Because like I said, well, we didn't really talked about the Drew Holiday trade yet, but Drew Holiday on last year's contract. So hopefully Hampton could come in, soak in knowledge, and hopefully develop to a nice guard down the line for the Bucks.
Do you think Giannis is gone?
They trying to get things done to make him stay. We talked this off the air. The moves they're trying to make, well, the Bonvanovic thing, I don't know, that's up in the air right now, but it seems like they're making the right moves trying to get him to stay. You know, getting Drew Holiday was a coup. I hate them giving up all that draft picks though. God, that's a lot of draft capital for Drew Holiday.
Yeah.
That
Hey,
that's really a lot.
you talk about a move for Giannis. They're gonna use that when trying to keep Giannis. Is we gave up so much to get to grab another player for you. Um, I know that's something that they're really gonna use, but that was a lot. They gave up a lot of draft capital for him for real.
And think about this: Holiday really hasn't finished the season within the past couple of years.
Yeah.
I mean, I know. Well, we know we had this, the situation with his wife, and I think the cancer and all that stuff. So he had to take care of that, be with her. But he missed some time with some injuries and stuff like that. So you know, you hope that coming into the season that a lot of stuff behind him, and hit the ground running. Along with Middleton in the fold, you can do something. Hopefully, he could be that upgrade over Eric Bledsoe, and you could, get some things done. And OKC's on the clock, and they are selecting one of the many draft picks. Emmanuel quickly, point guard from Kentucky.
Mm.
So traded Rubio. Now you get, another point guard to develop. So like I said, they're in full rebuild mode. Let me ask you this: do you see them trading Steven Adams?
Oh, possibly. I mean, you have Horford, Nerlens Noel, and Steven Adams. Somebody's got to get. Somebody's probably going to get shipped out. SGA is there, right?
Yep.
So yeah, you have, boy. Yeah, they're in rebuild mode, but Steven Adams seems like he's but what can you get from trading him? That's the thing. Like, what can you really get from trade? Who would really push to grab him? Where could you see him going? Maybe I think Dwight Howard is a free agent, so maybe to the Lakers, but the Lakers don't have anything that they would send for him. It
Kyle Kuzma.
yeah, but if you're the Lakers, would you send him Kyle Kuzma for him? You'd have to
Yeah.
send me like you got to send me like 2 first-round picks for me to send you Kuzma and for Adams. Adams is what? No, Adams is young. Adams is like 28, 27, right?
Yeah, around there.
Yeah, he's about 27, 28. So you're probably going to ship him because you got Horford, you got that contract. Nerlens Noel, I don't think he's on a big deal.
No.
But they're probably gonna have to re-sign him. Well, not have to, but they're probably going to re-sign him. Yeah, but right now, with how they're rebuilding, if I was Steven Adams, I probably would want to leave. It just they're in a scenario where they're trying to be good in like 2026, 2020, 2025, something like that. Or I'm thinking maybe they're waiting to see that star player like a LeBron, like a Kobe, like a Tim Duncan or somebody in the draft, and they use all those picks to move up. That's what I was thinking earlier. Is are they getting all these picks to wait to a Zion, to LeBron, to wait until somebody of that caliber shows up in one of these future drafts? I mean, we have so many. Remember, we're talking about 18 to 16 picks. You're trying to hit on all you got to do really is hit on one. Cleveland hit on one pick, and LeBron changed the franchise for a while. So you want to get that one play now. LaMelo was not that pick, that draft pick. He's not that caliber. We've seen it in Zion, I think, last year. So, or expectations anyway. So maybe that's what they're waiting on. I mean, they have so many draft picks. You can keep drafting first round over and over and over. And, it's different in NFL. In NFL, you can find you a quarterback or a left tackle that can be there for like 10 to 15 years. And that would be strictly your player. But with basketball, it's like if you don't hit in the first couple picks, or if it's not that player that's just at the top, like an Anthony Davis, a generational type player, you've wasted a pick. So that's why it's so easy for these teams to trade OKC the picks, because they know, like, hell, if you get, if you find that player, then good luck to you. But that means that to get them, you're gonna have to go to a team that's gonna be willing to just be like, all right, well, you know what? This is a generational player. We don't need him. Give us all your picks. And that's what it seems like they're really waiting on to me.
Yeah, I mean, what for Steven Adams? What can you get? I mean, I don't know. I mean, off the top of my head, who can benefit from a Steven Adams around the league?
Houston?
Houston, maybe to have a big man there.
Yeah.
I also thought about, well, you already did the deal with Minnesota, so I mean, I doubt you. I mean, you could trade again, but I mean, to have that legit center down low, I mean, and, with Steven, he's not asking for the ball or anything like that.
Nah.
So, you know, so you don't have to worry about that. Out east, Boston sounds like a very natural fit.
Yeah.
And we talk about Danny Age, not cashing in some of the draft capital. You see what else is going on in the East if you're Danny. Oklahoma City is selling. You need somebody in that middle to go along your bigs. You need somebody going along to contend against the Brooklyn Nets, with DeAndre Jordan and Jared Allen down low. You see what the Knicks did with Obi Toppin and their forwards as well. Miami, Bam Adebayo. You know how strong and big he is and versatile he is. Who else I'm thinking of? Indiana for
Adams on a
Sabonis.
big contract?
I think he's on the last year of his deal. Let me double check on that.
Because at the
But
same time, if his contract is up, it'll be hard to. It just depends on what they're getting in return. I mean, to send him so many picks, I really feel like in like 2 or 3 years, we're going to hear about the generational player that's about to enter the league is going to be number one, no doubt. And they're going to send like a boatload of picks to that team. Like, that's what it feels like. They have, come on now, you got 16 picks for 6 years. I really think they're waiting for that one player. They're waiting for that one player that's going to change everything. They're going to send, somebody with them for that.
Okay.
Wow.
Richard from Morgan going to Boston. So it's a dream pick, a scorer at point guard.
It's hard to say anything about Boston, how they pick.
So not bad for Boston. He seems like he can score. So I mean, you still got Marcus Smart and Kemba Walker in the fold. So we'll see how that plays out for them. But back to Steven Adams. I'll go ahead.
I just think Gordon Hayward is gone, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, there's interest from the Atlanta Hawks. In which you got to come off, you're like Cam Reddish, Kevin Herter, or what's his name from Virginia, DeAndre Hunter. You come off one of those guys.
Woo. Boston can grab one of them. There's no way they can't. They can't. Well, they're gonna run to the Heat, no matter what. In the Bucks, but the Celtics have a nice roster. They can go grab one of those players too. That'll be a huge plus. Like I told you, my problem with Gordon Hayward. You said, what about Steven Adams?
Well, I'll say there's one more thing, Stephen Adams. I think if you're one of those teams in the East that needs a big, and you kind of see what's going on, not like a Boston, Stephen Adams, just kind of like think about that fit. Like I say, Brooklyn, you know what they have. You can't let those guys, especially Kyrie and KD, have those open opportunities for second chance points. New York, I mean, I know Obi Toppin's not going to change the world, but that's another big you got to contend with. Also, you got to deal with Philly, Joel Embiid.
Yeah,
Like I said, Miami, Bam Adebayo. Hell, Orlando, Nicholas Vucevic.
yeah,
You got to worry about him. So you got. If I was Boston, I'd say, hey, I'll call Sam Presti. What's your asking price? I mean, I
yeah,
might throw you a draft pick, not giving you multiple picks for Steven Adams. Now, maybe they would because they were that close to the finals. You know, they're probably like a decent big man away and a healthy Gordon Hayward, maybe getting there.
yeah.
So, and then Utah selects Yokota as a bouquet from Kansas.
Hmm.
So I say
Shocking.
this pick is just like for you know development. You know, maybe there are rumors of them shipping out Rudy Gobert. There's been some reports out there, so
Hmm.
we'll see about that. In the chat,
It's,
I want to ask you, Ian want to ask this question. Is Boston's window closing, though, if KD and Kyrie stay healthy?
I don't think so. Um, First of all, the East is already kind of light. Um, you're gonna we don't know what's going on with the Pacers right now. I think they're kind of up and down right now. Um, you're gonna look at the Heat, obviously. Milwaukee, we'll see what happens with them, but I don't think so. I think so many expectations are for Brooklyn. I honestly, in my opinion, I don't see Brooklyn running away with these. For me, even though they do have Katie and Kyrie, I don't think it's going to be just a runaway. And hell, if they get James Harden, I think it's going to be even more trouble than anything. Again, we've seen how Kyrie acted when he didn't have the attention on him. So I'm still trying to see how that is going to picture. What's going to happen with that. Um, but I just don't see them running away with the East. I think Skip Bayless was saying that he thinks that they already given the East to Brooklyn, but I still like the Heat, and the reason why is because of the depth that they have. Right now, remember they fell to the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? 80 and LeBron, which is a hard combination to deal with. But the Heat are pretty deep still. So I think the Celtics will have more of a problem with the Heat coming off of. They're gonna have better chemistry next year. Hell, they're gonna have much better chemistry next year. So for me, I don't think the window is really closing. But I do expect for Jason Taylor to take that step into being a superstar. It's just that the reason why we don't see that from him is because they have so many players who can score on that team. Like that's not a team where if Jason Tatum doesn't play good, they lose. I don't see that. Like he can have a mediocre game or a pretty decent game. Jalen Brown can go off and they can win by 20, 25, whatever. They have the pieces for that. And that's another reason why I like the Celtics as well, is they have the pieces around them. Now, Daniel Tice, not too much of a fan of. Robert Williams has been getting, some minutes. Enes Kanter is, I think it might be over for him. But the thing is, I don't think it's a drop off for me. I don't think that window is closing specifically yet. I don't think that, even though, like I said, Brooklyn is pretty deep, the Celtics are not going anywhere. They're young too.
Yeah, I mean, I think for Boston to take that next step, Brad Stevens, he's got to establish that, okay, that pecking order. I mean, I know he likes everybody. He kind of goes with the hot hand, but we know in today's NBA, you gotta kind of just establish a pecking order.
Yeah,
And if he could establish that with Jason Tatum as that go-to guy, and then Jalen Brown as that number two, if he wants to accept it, I mean, he got to accept it. Then I think everything's to fall in place. Gordon Hayward came there to be the man in a sense. Unfortunately, he broke his ankle, and things haven't really panned out for him in Boston like he had hoped. So I just think if Brad Stevens can establish that pecking order with Tatum on the top, Brown at the second option,
mm-hmm.
if Hayward stays, he'll be that third option. Well, Tatum out. Oh, sorry. Kimbo at that third option. Then after that, Hayward if he stays, Marcus Smart off the bench as your spark plug, and then and fall right else in line.
Yeah. I mean, that's there. We can't say there's such thing as having too many players, but in a sense, there kind of is. You have so many, different rotations. Stevens got a lot, but it's just the fact that, like you said, the pecking order is. I believe the pecking order is what kind of hurt them in the playoffs. Down the stretch, there were games where we seen Kimba show up. There were games where Kimba just didn't show up at all. Brandon Wanamaker was in the damn game more than Kimba was some games. So it's kind of like, you're looking at some kind of lineups like, what the hell are you doing? You're trying to find a lineup, but it's too late for that, right? And on top of that, even though you do have a solid lineup, but you're solid roster, but because Gordon Hayward has been hurt a lot, you're still trying to find a specific lineup that goes perfect, chemistry wise. So you're right. The pecking order is going to be key, and this is the reason why I don't. That's one reason why I don't think that the that's the reason why I don't think that the window is closing for him. And on top of that, like I said, the East is not the West. We can go off and name 10 teams that can get in the top 8 in the West right now that'll make the playoffs. I don't think you can name that in the East. So I think they'll be fine. Now, obviously, like I said, I think we're gonna see a different Philly next year. I don't know what the hell to expect from my Magic next year, dude. Like, to be honest, like we fire coach like every couple of seasons, so you never know with us. But the Celtics would be good. I mean, to be honest, Stevens has done a better job than I expected when he even got to Boston. I wasn't expecting what he's doing now. But I think what does help them is when Tatum does take that next step forward.
Well, I always like Brad Stevens' coach. Even at Butler, I liked him there. He gets the most out of his players, and we saw that
Yeah.
Butler. And then we see that translated very well in the pros as well. Honestly, when Alabama got rid of Avery Johnson, I was like, hey, take a stab and get Brad Stevens down in Alabama.
Yeah.
The work he done there, and maybe he went to do the pro thing and come back. But anyways, the Lakers, to continue with the draft, the Lakers drafted what's this kid's name? I forgot about it.
For Dallas. I mean, not from Dallas, from Minnesota.
Yeah, from kid from Jay McDaniels, but my Washington, who's going to be sent to Minnesota.
Yeah.
So a stretch four, another stretch four in the fold for Minnesota. So, you know, between, Lakem, the kid they just drafted, you know, Gomez, I forgot to mention earlier
Honcho,
as
yeah.
well. Somebody's got to stick out and start the four position. Because Cat's gonna play the five. I- You know, do you play Anthony Edwards from the jump? You know, that'd be a good question. But if they figure that four position, unless they really really gonna go small and have Cat man to minnow,
Yeah.
we could see things really shake out. This NBA. I mean, not for Minnesota.
Let me look at this depth chart with them because they were already solid before this draft, and now they're adding. Okay, so forgot about Jordan McLaughlin, who is a pretty solid player. Can't forget about Malik Beasley.
Hmm.
Josh Okogie is over there too, correct?
Yep.
So yeah, damn, they got James Johnson as well. So they have a couple guys at they can put around the four. But somebody has to get chopped from this team. I don't
Hmm.
think they're going to be able to keep all these guys. Right now, it's looking like you're probably going to start Edwards at the 3, Russell at the 2, Rubio at the 1. Boy, somebody's going to get a. Well, if they let go of Malik Beasley, the Magic need to hop on that quick. Because I think he's a solid. I'm pretty sure he's pretty solid. Josh Okogie's there. Jake Layman, I don't really like him too much. I like James Johnson over him, to be honest, in my opinion. But this is what you expected, to be honest. The only surprise really is the fact that they went and got Rubio. They have a lot of pieces. Um, they got the shooter. This is what I mean by the West is pretty deep. This is the team that struggled last year. Obviously they got Cat in the trade. I'm not Cat. I'm sorry. They got D'Lo in the trade midway through the season. They went 19-45 last year. I don't see that from them this year. I think they're going to be a force to reckon with just because of the the basketball IQ they're going to have on the court. Now, obviously, we see what Anthony Edwards is going to look like focus wise. So if he can really dial in, we're talking about a player that can hit a ceiling. But with D'Lo, Rubio and Cat, there's no way this team should be in the running. To me, remember D'Lo had Brooklyn in the East Conference final, in the Eastern Conference playoffs. So even though that was a bad East, what they call it, the least, I still think that I always thought that D'Lo was like one of the better franchise players, in my opinion. So I feel like if you pair him with a Karl Anthony Towns, you're looking at a solid team. And to put him with a assist man, I like Rubio, who kind of reminds me of Steve Nash a little bit, not shooting wise, but just assist wise. You have a pretty solid roster. So I expect something from this team. But they got a lot of forwards now, so there's no reason for them to struggle to see who uh, is going to be the guy. The bigger question is who's going to come in when Cat needs his break.
That's a good question. And then shout out to the chat. Shout out to Ian Kelsey in the chat. I see you. Michael Sides, welcome to the chat. I see you as well. Toronto selected Malachi Flynn, point guard for San Diego State. So with this pick, Do you see Van Fleet still staying in the fold, or this is his replacement right here?
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking he's going to chase some money now. I don't think he got paid yet anywhere. Actually, double check. But
No, not
it's
yet.
time. Yeah, so I think it's time for him to go get paid somewhere. And hell, I even think Kyle Lowry had even said something about it. About younger guys being paid now. So you could be seeing him going to get paid somewhere. But yeah, I think it's probably over for him. They made their push with a couple years ago, as they called them before, the baby Raptors. That's what I'm expecting them to go back to this year coming up. But Van Fleet is what, 25, 26? Not really that
Yeah.
old. Yeah, so this is the time for him to get the big bucks, so he can at least, you know, get the kind of paper that he's deserved, because he played really good this year to me. Um, well, more than I expected. I wasn't expecting him to play the way that he did. I was always thinking when Kawhi was there, that Kyle Lowry was the person that was the leader and played a big role. But as we seen after Kawhi was gone, it seemed like Van Fleet just took off. So yeah, I think this might be it for him.
And going back to the finals of not this actually last year, a couple years seasons ago, he especially in the playoffs, especially in the finals, he hit some very clutch shots for the Raptors, and his performance in that finals against State really kind of propelled his profile, especially come to this past season, for him to get this big payday.
Yeah,
Now, who do he get paid from? I don't know. We'll wait and see how everything kind of flushes out, after this draft, and then when free agency starts, you know, kicking in. We heard Houston say not in a rush to trade Russ and Harden, but in a sense, you do got like a little clock to get rid of those. I mean, trade those guys, because if you trade them, because as we've seen reports, you got these players. They got to be within their, you know, city within by November, between November 28th to the 30th, and they got to be
yeah,
quarantined in.
yeah,
So I said, for Russ, for example, if he's unhappy and he wants to be traded elsewhere, for a team like the Knicks, for a sense,
yeah,
who's looking for a point guard, you gotta get that in. Okay, we're not gonna trade for us. Okay, we're gonna go after this guy Van Fleet.
yeah, yeah. I got you.
So, uh, you know, we got some things got get up and moving very quickly.
Well, time is going by fast, and like you said, they got to be in these cities at a specific time. So you can't sit here and ponder. Well, hell, what do I want to do? Or I don't like this trade, so let me give it a couple days and try to respond. Like, they don't have time for that, right? With these rules that they have, these trades got to be situated. Like you said, they got to be in these. They got to be in these cities at a specific time, because the season's coming soon, the 22nd, correct?
Yeah, 20 seconds, like,
Oh wow.
but just like a
So
month.
yeah. So apparently, um, Klay Thompson hurt his Achilles.
So that's what it is. His Achilles.
His Achilles tendon, yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. So you're looking at a scenario where I don't know, boy. Because
Damn,
now,
man.
yeah, do, we're not talking about oof. I mean, now you're talking about basically another season. Um, and the season is already shortened. Damn sure ain't gonna be ready by December. Hell, he's not gonna be ready by May. So now, gotta go. We just talked about Van Fleet. So will Golden State be stupid to try to make a push at him? Now, what do you do now? You've already drafted Wild.
Man,
Yeah, that sucks, man.
if you can sign and trade for him for Van Fleet, if you want to go for a fan, I mean, not you don't have to necessarily go after him, but you know, okay, if you want to keep that, that open space and stuff like that, along with Steph Curry, I mean, Van Fleet would be an option. Wiggins, he ain't the world's best shooter, but I don't know if, with this injury, I don't know if you're incentivized to keep him up, keep him. I mean, are you incentivized? Let me get my words right. Are you incentivized to keep him? Now you lost Clay. With Clay gone, my best option. You're not getting rid of Wiseman. I think he's going to be your face of your franchise in the future if things pan out.
Yeah,
By the way, package Wiggins, maybe a draft pick, and see if we can get off market. If you want to do a sign trade for Van Fleet, a guy that can score. Now, granted, you're going to lose a lot of size in that back court because Klay Thompson was 6'7", 6'7", 6'8", and he's a hell of a defensive player in in today's NBA standards. But Van Fleet's an option. Um, you know, Owen Depot.
hey,
I mean, he said that he's willing to stick with Indiana, but you know, if Golden State calls Colin, I think he'll be in the first train smoking.
yeah. You got to. You push for Bojan or Bogdanovich, dude. You're at a scenario now. You're not. Let me try to see. It's tough,
It's
man.
weird that he didn't want to go to Milwaukee though.
Yeah.
Unless he knows something that we don't know. But it's kind of weird that he
That
didn't
team is
want.
built though. Like, do you think that team is kind of his? Does it fit his style of play? He seems like an off the screen. He doesn't really. He seems like an off the screen type shooter. So does he fit the mold of a Klay Thompson type player to you? Because that's kind of how I see Bogdanovich a little bit. Is his style of play is built for like an offensive, high scoring type team. Milwaukee is not a team. They're built defense first, right? They have all these defensive players, and then they want to kind of score on you. Golden State is like the exact opposite. They want to put up a shit ton of points. So, I mean, right now they're in a scenario where they need another guard, man. I mean, I'm looking at their roster right now. I remember they did have D'Lo, but you got Jordan Poole, Damian Lee, Bowman. Now I really do like Pascal. I really like Pascal, but is he coming in for Draymond? So
Man.
yeah.
The thing about if you trade for Bogdanovich, you got to come off Wiggins because the salary's got to change and he's a restricted free agent.
Yeah.
And then you got to see where his head's at. Does he want to stay in Sacramento? Is he trying to go elsewhere? Trying to make a play go elsewhere. What's going to happen with Buddy Hield? That's another question because him and Luke Walton don't see eye to eye right now.
Yep.
What's going to happen with them? It's like okay, because it's kind of weird. Like okay, Buddy Hield be starting games at the 2, then you got Bogdanovich at the games at the 2, then you got Buddy Hield come off the bench, and vice versa.
Yeah.
It seems like it's always like a back and forth type of thing that Luke Walton never really figured out. So maybe he's thinking okay, I know Buddy Hield ain't really liking it here, so if I can like stall him out, I can stay here and be comfortable in Sacramento. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Uh, you know. So we'll see how things go. The first round has ended. We're on the second round now. We ain't gonna talk about second round too much, but let's talk about these trades that happened the past couple of days. D-Lock.
Yeah.
What are your opinions of Chris Paul going to the Suns?
So I ain't gonna lie. The biggest piece thing we talked about, the biggest piece that I really seen about it that I did overlook, what I thought people overlooked about that trade was Kelly Oubre at first. I thought that Kelly Oubre is one of these pieces that can be a hell of a player moving forward. So when I seen that he got shipped, I was like, wow, like that's a steal for OKC. But forgetting, and we talked about it, Cameron Johnson is there and Mikal Bridges, like you're loaded at small forward, right? You're loaded, at the 3 and the 4. They just got Jalen Smith. You got Sarek and Frank the Tank is over there. So you're good. So grabbing Chris Paul was a very good move. One person I want to see like him teach or to just learn under Chris Paul is Cameron Payne. That's a person that I really want to see if he can like be a better player. I remember seeing him get drafted or getting picked up. I thought he coming into the league. I thought he was going to be a better player, but with Chris Paul's leadership, I think he can help the younger players. But also, this proves that the Suns are trying to win now as well. They do have Aiden, and obviously they're trying to keep Devin Booker there to let him know how serious they are about winning. Remember, they were on that, what is it, 6-0, I think 6 or 8-0 run in the bubble, and they were clicking. I think Devin Booker made was it the all the bubble team or something like that, all bubble team. So not a bad move. I'm also hearing for a couple of friends of mine I really know that Phoenix have a great facility when it comes to rehab and injuries and stuff like that. They have a hell of a facility. So us seeing Chris Paul with injuries is not going to happen as much, especially in Phoenix, because they have a great facility there and they take care of the athletes really good. So I think it was a pretty good move. But it's clear that this move was to go deep in the West, big time.
I think for me, for Chris Paul going to Phoenix, I think like you mentioned, Phoenix is trying to capitalize from the bubble. They're about this close making the playoffs. This
Yeah.
past August, and if Chris Paul, and the great job he did this past season with OKC, lead them to the playoffs. One of the surprise teams in the whole NBA, and now you go to a Phoenix team that if DeAndre Ayton, continues his growth, don't miss any more games like he did in the beginning part of this year, then, you know, Devin Booker being that top scorer, you solid at the wings, even though you lose Kelly Oubre. Cameron Payne could be a solid backup guard. And then, Aaron Baines, if you keep him around, and Frank Kaminsky, I think you can make a push for that playoff run.
Yeah.
And now with Klay Thompson being hurt, hurting Golden State for a little bit, they're going to hurt Golden State. Sacramento, what's going on there?
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota, they were at the bottom. Are they going to do well this year? New Orleans is a wait and see. How that roster is going to be finalized. So I think Phoenix going to be in the playoff hunt. We'll see what Houston does in their situation.
I think we'll see them fade back. I think if, and this is if we'll find out probably the next couple of days or hours what they do with Russ and Harden. But if both of them are gone, I think we don't see. I don't think we see the Rockets in the playoffs next year. So it's for the Suns to kind of. I think the first team that's going to take advantage of a spot is the Suns. The Timberwolves are coming up. I think, like I said, slowly, not yet, but if I had to pick between Timberwolves and the Suns, I really would love the Suns just because of the experience, in the league compared to Timberwolves, who are a little younger right now.
And it kind of touched on these second round picks. Vernon Carey gets drafted to the Charlotte Hornets.
Out of Duke, yep.
It feels like he should stay at school another year.
Yeah.
In my humble opinion. But I mean, you go to a Charlotte team that, you could do some scoring and stuff like that. So, and you dependent to be scored on. I mean, dependent to do much, first couple years anyway. So, but I think he's gonna be one of those players that could stay another year and kind of benefit from another year of school. In my humble opinion.
Yeah.
And then, we kind of touched on Schroeder to the Lakers. We talk about Rondo being gone potentially. Do you think the Lakers still stay still, or they got to never move up their sleeves?
They're gonna get somebody during the all season, I think, or during the free agency. We clearly know this is LeBron's team. I feel like right now they're looking for vets more than younger players. They're at a point where they're trying to grab as much basketball IQ as they can. So, right now, winning a championship, knowing that LeBron is probably going to leave in about, I give him, I say 3 more years, maybe 4, and that's just me being generous. But they want as many vets as they can get right now, so they're not really tied to getting younger guys. They're probably going to grab maybe 1 or 2, or maybe a couple of vets in free agency. I don't think KCP comes back. Rondo, it will suck to see him go to the Clippers just because they're forming this rivalry and he's just gonna go over there like that. That would be kind of weird to me. That's like a player going from Bama to Auburn. In my opinion, I don't see that as it would be a weird move to me. But he possibly could leave, maybe Clippers, maybe Atlanta. But I think the Lakers are gonna grab a couple guys. Now they're gonna get a couple guys too with smaller contracts that can play big roles as well because it's the Lakers. Um, now also knowing that they're going to need some pieces to put around Anthony Davis when LeBron leaves. So to be honest, I'm thinking that Kyle Kuzma is on a short leash. I think his name needs to be watched. I don't think he's going to be there in 2 years. I think they're going to use him as trade bait at some point because he's not going to transform into the second best player on that team to me. Like when LeBron leaves, I don't see him being, the second best player. I feel like they're going to try to grab somebody else to come in. And obviously, since it's a historic franchise, with the players that they have there, like they're going to grab damn near anybody they want. So they're not making moves. Watch out for DeRozan.
And we got some breaking news coming in. Dallas is in Philadelphia's Josh Richardson and the 36th pick in this draft for Seth Curry.
Woo! just got longer.
So Philly has shipped out the two big offseason accusations last year in Richardson and Holford. Now you got Steph Curry in the fold. So it seemed like I don't think shedding salary, but what do you think of this move here?
Steph Curry. Not a bad move. I mean, he can. I think Seth Curry is a little underrated in my opinion. I think he's pretty solid. Richardson does have his games, where he's there and then he just is nowhere to be found. But Luka is the guy on that team. But to me, like I said, it seems like Dallas is getting very long. Like they have every player above 6'6", seems like, except Tim Hardaway right now. And I think Tim Hardaway might be 6'5" and a quarter or something like that. So, also Trey Burke. That's another reason why they made that trade, is because Trey Burke has came into a player that was expecting him coming out of Michigan, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he's playing like lights out. I remember when he was coming out, I really, any team that you're a fan of, you want them to get the best player. Hell, I wanted us to get Trey Burke, how he looked out of Michigan. And he's playing very good right now. So to get rid of Seth Curry, or not get rid of, but to trade him for a Josh Richardson, who's more of a defensive player, they're adding defense to that team, which is what they struggled with last year in Dallas. I think it's known that Luka is not covering a lot of people. So they needed defense. And I think that's what Josh Richardson brings. So you're going to have that. Trey Burke is going to fall into the role of Seth Curry. Am I missing? They have another point guard over there that I'm missing. Not JJ Barea. Am I thinking JJ Barea?
Yeah, I think he's still there.
Yeah, I may be thinking JJ Barea, but they have some solid pieces. So to grab some more defense, they are long. Finney Smith over there, Kleber, like they're very long. So not a bad move. For Philly, it seemed like it's the exact opposite. I think we were talking about earlier with the defensive players with Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. They're adding more shooters, which is what Doc Rivers likes. So not a bad move at all. But I think Dallas is going to need more defense if they want to get a little bit further in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean Richardson, two-way guy, can be a streaky shooter at times, but I mean he can make his shots when depended upon. So I think for this move for Philly, I think shedding salary for a little bit because Curry's not on that big of a deal,
Mm-hmm.
and then looking at this roster, You still got, you added Terrence Ferguson. I think Al Burks is a free agent. So you bring in Seth Curry as well. Also, you bring in Danny Green in the fold as well.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Ooh.
you really, space out the floor getting these shooters in.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, you compensating for Ben Simmons, not trying to shoot. I was like, okay, if you ain't gonna shoot, we'll find these other guys out here that will.
Yeah.
You just make sure you deliver the ball right on time to them.
Yeah. You're gonna see a lineup with Seth Curry, Danny Green, Ben Simmons at the 3, with Joel Embiid at the 5. You're gonna see that. Because they've had those kind of lineups with Shake Milton, I believe, right? And Tobias, but now, now they can have, a Danny Green out there who's going to play pretty solid defense, who can jack up threes when he wants to, even though he didn't do it last year. So you have him, and then Seth Curry is going to shoot his skin off the ball as well. So you got shooters now. When Ben Simmons just wants to go to the line and get to the free throw line, you don't have to. He is not, and this is the reason why I like Doc Rivers, is because Doc Rivers gets the best of his. He gets the best out of all his players. So if he knows that, you know what, Ben Simmons is not a shooter, he's a scorer. I need shooters. He's going to have Ben Simmons in a scenario where he is strictly a scorer. Then he's going to add on shooters. So that's what he's doing. He's getting Steph Curry, who's a pretty good, a really good shooter, bringing Danny Green, and they're not asked to score. They're not asked to get to the rim, because that's what Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid do, right? If you need points quickly or points fast, you can get them from Joel Embiid getting the free throw line, and Ben, who needs to work on his free throws a little bit. So you got the guys there. I mean, that's a good move, I would say, for the Sixers as well.
Is this setting up for anything else with the moves that Philly has made, or
I mean,
am I?
it could be, but who would you be moving to? Who would Philly be? I can't say. See, I have this mindset where I'm thinking always how it is in the NFL. The NFL is different when it comes to trades. NFL is usually 2 teams. NBA can do a 3-team trade, right? So Philly could be setting up, like you said, they could be making these moves for another team to get the players they want. So James Harden gets sent to Brooklyn. So like, it's so many scenarios that could be happening. So it could be setting it up. Because I was going to originally ask, well, who are you going to ask for James Harden? But I mean, who are you going to set for James Harden? But they can really be setting this up to grab maybe somebody from Brooklyn to send somebody to Houston, so James Harden can go to Brooklyn. Like, I see where you're saying where the setup is. They got a lot of pieces, man. So there's a possibility that this is not the last jersey we're going to see Danny Green in right now.
And who knows? Danny Green could stay there, maybe not. I highly doubt he won't be bought out from his contract, because I think the contract he got from Lakers, I think that's his last big contract.
Yeah.
But man, for Philly, go look at the roster real quick. They really got no big. I mean, you got Harris who played that stretch forward, but I mean, you don't want him to be dependent on that too much. You still got Glenn Robinson in the fold, so I don't know.
Watch out for Tobias. I got a feeling that he may be a piece. We were talking about setting up. He may be a piece that might be moved.
So who's gonna take on that contract?
Yeah, but see, this is the reason why teams trade that first round pick and teams take it because it's like, well, hell, if you take this first round pick, we'll give you this first round pick if you take this contract, right? So Brooklyn is sitting back trying to see how they can pan this out. Is what they're trying to do. Grabbing James Harden is, I think, something that they're gonna try to push. But my thing with that is, okay, if you try that, you're gonna have to give up so much for him that you're gonna have to get something in return besides just James Harden. So at this point, it's okay. Yeah, we want James Harden, but hey, let's add this third team to grab X, Y, and Z. So they, Danny Green, yep, Josh Richardson is gone. You got Ben Simmons. So it's these trades won't end for a while, but it has to happen soon though, because once these teams got to land in the city, that's it.
I said, we talked about earlier, something's brewing.
Yeah.
Something is brewing. I can't really taste. I mean, I can't. Something's brewing.
Yeah, you're right. My thing is, when is it gonna happen? Because I think I sent you around 1:30. I think I sent you that trade that happened.
Yep.
Yeah. So we don't know when these things could click at any point. It's just that these teams are putting these things together.
Heck, it could be like last summer when Paul George got traded. It happened like very late at night. Like,
yeah.
I was like about to go to bed. Next thing you know, I see the notification. Okay, Kawhi going to the Clippers. Okay, then
Paul George.
5 minutes later, you said Paul George going to what? Whoa, what? Paul George? Man, I got my bed. Did an episode on the Crooks process after.
Yeah. So it's kind of like you were trying to be sent to where I guess, well, let's try to do this where everybody's not paying attention, and then but nah, it's not gonna happen, especially around this time. So something is gonna happen, and for the name of, for one, how Brooklyn has gone on right now, they're the hot team right now with KD and Kyrie and Steve Nash there, and then on James Harden name that alone, like if something happens, it's gonna pop up, and we're definitely gonna be on it.
And then, just touch on the draft here a second. Robert Woodard, the second from Mississippi State, gets drafted to Memphis. So I gotta probably spend some time in the G League and stuff like that this year if the G League happens. So, good selection for the Grizzlies.
Trying to see if there's anything going on with James Harden.
Now, Harden did come out on Instagram and say, I don't know, he's saying, everybody talking was like all cap, but if they ain't like, doubt to that, because it seems like what people are saying, he wants gone. I think we talked about in the past. Daryl Morey, you done everything you could with that team. You maxed out. You almost got to the finals twice. Golden State kind of stopped you there. Then you really went small ball, and it had some results, but now you ain't gonna play that style because you traded away Robert Covington to Portland.
Yeah,
he's gone, and that was a great pickup for Portland. Getting like a younger version, like a Trevor Ariza.
Yeah. It's to the point now where it's some of this stuff. these teams are moving around. I ain't gonna lie. Boston started this way back when they got Kevin Durant and Paul Pierce and Ray Allen on the same team. They started this this big three man. So I expect and James Harden, he can call it cap, but we know what he wants. I mean, it's clear. You at this point, how it works with social media and all this other stuff, you can't go up in the front office and demand something and not expect for it to get out. Like, dude, would you turn down a $50 million a year contract? That type of money?
I mean, if you turn down $50 million per year, plus living in the state of Texas, I mean, some signs are there.
Yeah, listen. If I offer somebody that kind of money and they turn it down, I'm finding a way to get you away from my franchise, like soon. Now I'm not taking anything, but it's clear that you don't want to be here. So if that's the case, then now it's a tough, decision to make. But dude, 50 mil a year, like what else do I have to give you for you to say, for you to commit to being here? But if you're already, I want to leave, and you're telling me where you want to go, then yeah, I mean, I'm probably gonna move, probably gonna ship you somewhere. Now, their best move, like I said, is like you said, as far as the Brewing thing, it could be clear what Houston wants. It could be clear what they want. They're just waiting for, knowing that he's gonna be on the move. All these teams are sitting back, like, okay, well, we know he's on the move, so let's get in a situation where we can throw the whole kitchen sink out. That's just what it is. This is where I told you earlier, and we talked about it Sunday. We talked about Russ. I'm like, well, hell, come on, Magic. Try something. At least try to get somebody, or try to make a move to get Russ. Because even though you don't know, oh my gosh, the Spurs have drafted another guard.
Yeah.
A solid one too. So, but something is gonna happen. And it has to happen soon on top of that. Because if it doesn't, there's no way I see James Harden playing for the Rockets next year. Let me say that. I don't see that happening. Like, there's no way. If he plays for the Rockets next year, I'll be shocked.
I think I'll be shocked more if Russ suits up.
Yeah.
Harden, I mean, you can convince him, trying to convince him, hey, we're trying to do this for you and stuff like that. Russ, I can see them shipping out.
Yeah, but 50 mil, if I can't convince you by giving you 50 mil, I don't know what else. I mean, it's just, golly, 50 mil. Like, you're basically literally telling me you don't want to play here.
But Tillman Fertitta.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the guy wants to win now, but we talked about this past Sunday. I mean, we talked about Tillman a lot this past summer. But him being the industry he is in, his pockets are hurting. One of the things that could save him some money is offloading some salary.
Mm-hmm.
And if he can convince the James stay, then okay. If I can ship these two guys to save some money, I could save some money in my pocket. I'm still in a good market in Houston. I can still sell some tickets. Well, depending on how many people will be let in, and then go about that way. The thing with Brooklyn, if it does happen, materialize, At least James gave you a decent option to get some decent guys back in return and some draft capital.
Yeah,
Like Caris LeVert.
yeah,
And if you ask for like a Spencer Dinwiddie, and then maybe I was trying to get for Jared Allen, and then get like a couple, first round picks.
yeah.
I mean, that's not a bad return. I mean, granted, yeah, you're not getting matching value with James Harden. It's hard to say that. Look with the Pelicans and Lakers,
Right.
but LeVert, he showed he could be a very decent scorer in the NBA. Allen, very solid, big man in the NBA in today's NBA.
Yeah.
Dinwiddie, he can score. So I mean, the cupboard ain't bare in Houston. It sucks that you got rid of Covington. That could have go along good with that little core.
Mm-hmm.
But you still got Eric Gordon in the fold. So I mean, if you get traded to Brooklyn, cupboard ain't bare.
Yeah.
If you get that right haul, the cupboard won't be bare. And then you trade Russ, you know, and Guy. I don't know if you saw the story or not, but maybe a trade between the Rockets and Washington for Russ and John Wall. I was like, ooh,
Would you rather have John Wall?
ooh.
Yeah. No.
And hell, we don't know what John Wall's gonna look like.
Mm-mm. Not at all.
I mean, we don't know what he's gonna look at all. In the past couple of years, I mean, he's been looking kind of thick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I
I was
did see
like,
a video of him working out. I think a couple of days ago, I seen him working out, and that's street ball. You know what I mean? That's the difference between playing street ball and 82 games. So, not sure about that, but and not to go off topic, but just keep the Pelicans into this too now, because we've seen them, make a couple picks that or have you in question with what they're going to do with Lonzo or Eric Bledsoe.
mm-hmm.
So it Houston, they have two players right now that are basically saying they want to leave. Why not try to get younger at the point guard position with Lonzo? It's a question that I wouldn't mind. It's a question that you have to ask. I'm not saying that it's for sure a trade, but it's just with how this draft. That's the reason why we want to do this podcast, anyways, because how this draft is going. We've seen some trades that shows you it's kind of like some of these teams are working in the weeds right now. It's like they're working and people are like, oh, wow, they picked this person. There's a couple trades we're looking at. Wow, that's shocking, right? Well, wow, I can't believe they picked that. They could be using that for trade bait hours later, a day later, a week later. And to me, even though we know what the scenario is with James Harden, even though I think he's really high on going onto Brooklyn, I don't think he's turning down a different team if he really wants to leave at some point. Now, I'm not saying you ship him to the worst team in the NBA, but if he's looking at a different scenario that may not look if he sees a different scenario that looks as interesting as Brooklyn, maybe he said, I don't mind going there. So the 3-team trade thing is what pay you difference, or more the 2-team trade thing is what makes a difference in the NBA, because you can grab 2 or 3 players that you're just sitting there using, like, even though the Rockets may not use them, but maybe the Pelicans can use them with the depth that they have on their team, which gives them a reason to ship, James Harden to Brooklyn, to get Lonzo to Houston. Like, it's so many different, scenarios that can go. So, got to keep an eye on what these teams are doing, because like you said, you can see that something's cooking up right now. Something's gonna happen, and the teams are just waiting now. Another team and they're picking right now is the Bulls. That I want to see what they do. They're so deep at guard. I've been hearing a lot about Zach LaVine. So, you things are being, cooked up right now, and it's like you're waiting for that news to officially drop. It's the same thing about Kawhi last year. We waited so long to figure out where Kawhi was going. They kept saying, well, when like, we don't know where he's going. Where's he going? He might go here. He might go there. Is he going back to Toronto? What is he going to do? And all of a sudden, late at night, like you said, a notification comes up. Not only is he going to OKC, he's going to LA, but OKC is getting like 5 or 6 or 7 picks, and they're sending Paul George over to the club. Like, that stuff happens at any time. So, this is not going to end. I mean, we're going to see a lot of stuff going on in the next couple of days, and I guarantee you by Sunday we're going to see something else pop up before our next episode.
I'm gonna make a bold prediction before we get out of here. I think sometime from now here on November 18th, 10:40 Central Time, 11:40 Eastern, 8:40 Pacific.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's gonna be a mega trade between either like 4 or 5 teams. Maybe hell, between 4 teams at least. Between Houston, Brooklyn. I'm gonna be bold. Let me throw in. I'll throw in Boston and OKC because they seem like they're in the mix for everything. They kind of like that median for everybody. The past couple days.
Yeah.
If I add another team in there, maybe New Orleans. But I think a big trade is going to come down. Now, who's going to get shipped where? I couldn't say.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
For OKC, do you hang on to Al Horford?
Nah.
If
you move Danny Green that fast, you're going to move Al Horford.
Yeah, that's true. But the thing about Danny Green, he's on last year of the deal. Al Horford, he still got some years on that contract.
That's what I'm saying. That's why, if it was that easy to move Danny Green and he only has 1 year left, what would make you think? Well, what would make them think to keep Al Horford, for a couple of years? And then remember we talked about Steven Adams earlier. So to me, you're right. They're in the fold as well. They're probably sitting there waiting to see what happens. But problem is, you got to find somebody that's going to take that. I told you a couple of days ago. I was telling you how pissed I was that we still paying Timothy Mozgov right now, and he ain't doing nothing but walking around with a water bottle, clapping his hands. So, yeah, I think something's going to happen. My bold prediction. I think James Harden's going to I think he's going to get moved to the Nets. And I also think that this is kind of bold for me to say. It's a team I'm thinking in the weeds right now. And I think it's because I want to see it happen, even though it's slim chance. But I think Russ is going to get traded. And a team to watch out for is the Bulls. The reason why I say that is because, Billy Donovan is over there, so it kind of would be a backward move for him to go grab him. But I just see that they're very deep. Let me not say the Bulls specifically. I just think that Russ is going to the East. Let me say that. I think he's going to the team on the East.
I see Russ going to the East as well. Where? Man, it's hard to say.
Anyway, he goes to Philly.
Ooh, Russ to Philly.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Because I don't see Houston just trading just picks for these players. I feel like they're trying to get a player in return.
Russ to Philly. I can't see that. But like while we talked about the episode this few days ago, if you're Steven Silas, if both of these guys weren't gone, I get to rebuild the roster in my own way.
Yeah.
Get some draft capital and whatnot, and go from there. If these guys don't be here, me and new front office, hey, we gotta. Hey, if these guys won't be here, then let's ship out, start from the ground up. The previous regime had a nice run, but we can build the thing from the ground up.
Right. Just depends.
Okay, I like that pick. For Golden State. Nico Mannion, guard for Arizona, second round. Another freshman that could have stayed in college for another year, but a good guard that could be developed nicely, could be a nice rotation player. So I like that pick for Golden State late in the second round.
Yeah, they need there. Boy, I would love to see the Warriors try to go grab one of these big name players.
I mean, it hasn't stopped them before.
Yeah.
I mean, it hasn't stopped them before. So, any closing thoughts here, D-Lock, tonight?
Another shocking night. To be honest, I think by Sunday, you guys are watching. Trust me, by Sunday we're gonna find out more information. Different thing. I think a couple trades are gonna happen by Sunday. So Rubio might get traded again by Sunday. Danny Green as well. But only thing that really was shocking the fact that LaMelo didn't go number one to me, but good draft overall for most teams. But again, like we just said, I think these teams are they're cooking some up right now. This is just a build to making a bunch of package deals.
I think for me, just recap the first half of the draft. Congrats to Anthony Davis being the first overall pick. You mentioned LaMelo Ball not going to Minnesota, and then you kind of look at it now. Okay, you bring in Ricky Rubio back in the fold. It's like, okay, you could have took this younger prospect here, who's way bigger and taller. If he develops a jump shot and play half-ass defense, you got a potential star right there.
18 years old. Yep.
So I was like, oh, you kind of looking at everything now. I was like, okay, y'all could have maybe, took this player number one.
Better than that. Yeah.
Wiseman, if he develops, you know, to a decent bit in the NBA, I think Golden State got something special. I think they had to go big man. I think they found nobody in the trade market for the number 2 pick. So, you know, I think they got the best value of their pick and a need also. And you're not going to be dependent on him to do a lot this year. Now, granted, Klay Thompson's gone, most likely for the year, but you're not going to ask him to do too much.
Right.
LaMelo going to Charlotte is going to be interesting. Do you bring him off the bench starting off, or do you put Terry Rozier at the bench where he's most effective and have Graham and Ball in the backcourt? You still got Malik Monk in the fold too.
Forgot about him.
So, they got a little bit of logjam there to figure it out in Charlotte. The Bulls taking Patrick Williams. Time will tell how that pick would pan out. You still got Denzel Valentine in the fold, which are who they really like. So you're not in a rush to have Patrick deliver for you now.
Yeah.
Cleveland drafting Isaac Okoro. If he develops nicely, get a jump shot, he could be a very nice player. And with Kevin Porter catching that gun charge yesterday, I think, that's what, Cleveland's kind of looking at. Okay, we're looking for high character guys. Kevin, who's slowly coming to his own, he does that. I think you got a pretty solid rotation building in Cleveland. This guy figured out that guard situation. And then Detroit going Killian Hayes, this another pick for the rebuilding project. Let me ask you this. Does Blake Griffin get traded before the season starts?
I don't think so. I think he's going to be there for a while. He has a big contract too, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the problem is, and it's not because they don't want him. I think it's the contract and the injury problems that he has. You're going to need a team that's going to take that. I don't see it. I would hate to say what team would take that. Would be the Orlando Magic, but I don't see him going anywhere. It's just the fact that the Pistons they would have to give up so much for a team to take that contract. A team would literally have to take that contract.
I mean, when healthy, we know what Blake can do, but another ACL tear, the contract, the age.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be hard to move him. It's going to be very hard to move him. And then I'll just finish out here. Phoenix drafting Jalen Smith, 10th overall. You just hope, he develops to be a guy in your starting lineup down the line. Like we mentioned before, Aaron Baines, granted he's a free agent, but, I think at the right price, he could be right back. Frank Kaminsky in the fold too. And then they still have Dario Saric there too, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, no rush for this kid to come out, and do a lot of things. And, you can say this for a lot of these draft picks. You shouldn't have to rush these kids out here too quickly.
Nope.
So, that's how you kind of look at this draft. You don't have to depend on these guys from the jump to produce for you. It'll be nice, but it's not like well, damn, Patrick Williams ain't really contributing for the Bulls right now.
Yeah.
I'm not asking you to.
But most of the teams that are thinking like that are trading in the back of the draft. The teams that want to win right now. So, and those teams make their moves in free agency. So that's when we'll see, a couple of these teams now. And also not only that, but what we're seeing, they cook things up, and then here we go later on, a couple of days later, this big ass trade, this big ass blockbuster trade, that these teams want to win right now have made. So that's what you expect from those teams. The teams that are trying to build, OKC, Charlotte, those kind of teams, Detroit, they will take those risks early and let years go by.
So this has been our show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. Man, we added 3 hours strong.
Yeah, we went over a lot.
So we're over a lot this Sunday. 7 o'clock Central, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Free agency is going to be starting this weekend.
Yeah, so y'all think it's crazy now. It's going to be crazy Sunday.
So buckle your seats, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of things are going to go down. So we will be on top of that news when it happens, and we discuss things that happened prior. So, with James Harden on the docket, Westbrook, what does OKC do? Whatnot. Do the Lakers stand pat? What about the Knicks? Everybody, Celtics. That secondary trade market, Owen Depot, Buddy Hield, and whatnot. So a lot of things we're going to discuss Sunday. Free agency just a couple days down the road. Some things going to happen.
Quick.
But tune in with us on Sunday night here on IE Sports Radio. If you're not following us on Fast Break on Twitter at Fast Break ISER, I think I got that right. Please do. D-Lock, how can people find you on social media?
Definitely, guys can find me at Black-813. Black, the word -813. Twitter and Instagram. And also on NBA Fast Break on IE Sports Radio Twitter page. Let them know where they can find you at in the Crooks process.
You can find me on Twitter at Spawn4288. That is Spawn4288. You can follow the Crooks Process on Facebook and Instagram. I'll drop a post on there. That's when a new episode be up. So please do follow me there. But like I said, be back with us on Sunday night. Thank y'all for tuning in. And we talk to y'all later. We out.
All right.